sermons, The Keys to the Kingdom. We are at verse number 6. Blessed are those who hunger and thirst for righteousness, for they will be filled. Thank you. You may be seated. The grass withers and the flower thereof fades away, but the word of our God shall stand forever. Blessed are those who hunger and thirst for righteousness, for they will be filled. In the Old Testament, we have the Ten Commandments, which deal with our outward actions. The Ten Commandments deals with our outward actions. But in the New Testament, we have the Beatitudes, which deal with our inward attitude. Outward actions are dealt with by the Ten Commandments, but inward attitude is dealt with by the Beatitudes. 10 Commandments, 9 Beatitudes, 9 attitudes that ought to be. Attitudes that ought to be. It is not what you have that makes you blessed. It's what you are that is the key to blessedness and kingdom satisfaction. The scripture says, blessed are the poor in spirit. Blessed are those who mourn. Blessed are the meek. Blessed are those who hunger and thirst after righteousness. Not what you have. Not blessed are those who have, but blessed are those who know who they are. Because when you know who you are, your blessedness rests in the knowledge of who you are. Character is the identity of who you are. But conduct is what you do. Behavior follows belief. In verses 3 through verse 5, Jesus talks about kingdom entrance. In verses 6 through verse 8, Jesus talked about kingdom expression. And in verses 9 through 12, he talks about kingdom experience. It's not coincidental, brothers and sisters, that the Bible is a perfect commentary on the Bible. Psalm number 1 is an Old Testament commentary on a New Testament idea. Because what you believe determines how you behave. Blessed is the man that walks not in the counsel of the ungodly, nor stands in the way of sinners, nor sits in the seat of the scornful, but his delight is in the law of the Lord, and in that law doth he meditate both day and night. And he shall be like a tree planted by the rivers of water, that brings forth fruit in his season. His leaf also shall not wither, and whatsoever he doeth shall prosper. The ungodly are not so. They are like the chaff that the wind drives away. Therefore, the ungodly shall not stand in the judgment, nor sinners in the congregation of the righteous. For the Lord knows the way of the righteous, but the way of the ungodly shall perish. If you stand with them, it will not be long before you sit with them. Because where you stand is what you believe. Where you sit is how you behave. And if you stand with them and sit with them, it won't be long before you belong to them. Walk with me around the text. If you would be blessed this morning to hunger and thirst after righteousness so that you can be filled, you must, number one, desire Jesus preeminently. Desire Jesus preeminently. What verse 6 is really saying to us, Lily Grove, is blessed are those who hunger and thirst after Jesus. Blessed are those who hunger and thirst after righteousness. Blessed are those who hunger and thirst after Jesus. 1 Corinthians chapter 1 and verse 30 says, Christ is made unto us wisdom and righteousness. To seek righteousness, you must seek Jesus. And to seek Jesus is to seek righteousness. Now, all of us here this morning have natural hungers. We hunger for food. We hunger for the companionship of friends. Many people hunger for fame. Others of us hunger for fortune and fashion. Most of us hunger for fitness. And all of these are legitimate as long as you don't take it too far. If you take food too far, you know what happens. If you depend on friends for your sense of somebodyness, they'll turn on you in a minute. If fame is what you crave, you will do anything for likes on Facebook. If fortune is what you are after, you will knock somebody down to get it. If fashion is where you are, you will spend money you don't have on things you don't need to impress people you don't like. If fitness is where you are, you spend all your time in the gym buffed up and ain't got no sense. Strong on the outside, a mile wide and an inch deep. But our hunger for righteousness, our hunger for Jesus, is to be preeminent over food, over friends, over fame, over fashion, over fortune, over fitness. We ought to desire Jesus more preeminently than anything in this world. Because when you know him, he is heaven's bread